You are now in the presence of a king.
I know that's the wrong intro, but I still
only
love that intro.
I'm only mildly offended. Only mildly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, I noticed that too. That's like Mark like, I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you, Wanda. See, someone gets it. Someone understands it.
Oh, well,
Kelly's
I
trying to
love
give
the
me some
intro.
nutrition.
I do like the new one. I do like the new one. And that was my bad. But we are back. We opened our brand new page today, guys. So it's Blurred Otaku, The Blurreds, which is this show, and then of course Capes and Cases, where you get Marky Mark, myself, and sometimes maybe even Fonda, as we talk to certain people at conventions and stuff like that, doing superhero cosplay type of stuff. It's more of an interview type of thing. But we've been cultivating this for a while because I normally would put everything on the Cosmic Portal, but it's just been harder and harder to push our content without going through our social media and making it such a hassle. So now it's easier. It's all centrally located in one place. And don't get me wrong, the Cosmic Portal is still basically, it's our streaming platform. It's where we put most of the content, the salvage yard, and the Cosmic Portal pushes it out, but you can basically find it on that page. I listed that up earlier. So, now, today, what should I say? What's it like being a blurred, or what is a blurred now in 2026 with all this craziness? Social upheaval, political upheaval, and the poor content that is dribbling out of all the studios. I thought that would be kind of a good place to kind of start. I've got some different experiences that I want to share. Especially since I really started just now at 55 started to seriously cosplay. And I have some thoughts, and I'm probably going to ruffle a few feathers. But Paladin, let's start with you. 2026, what is it like being a blurred, or your take on being a blurred in 2026?
You know what? Even I don't think it has. I think it's definitely not the same that it was, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, because I'm one of those. What's the way to saying this without sounding pretentious? Forward-leaning folks, like, hey, we're in the future. Let's try to be, let's go with the times. The winds of change. Move or get left behind. But I still have an appreciation for, legacy, that the folks who came before us, people who laid the groundwork and stuff. I mean, Blurred, we have in our intro, and it's actually good. You played the old intro, Calibus, because we put that quote on there from Scrubs. That's probably one of the first times I probably heard anyone talking about a Blurred. And then it wasn't until much later that, I've always been into, pop culture and certain aspects of it, right? Certain aspects, sci-fi, anime, always wanted to cosplay, didn't get into that until, a few years ago. And that was mostly after a lot of personal stuff happened in my life. I'm gonna do what I want now. But I think it's definitely different. I think, you know, not to, rain on the parade too much, but even with, the climate of things nowadays, when you walk the streets, everything seems fine. It's when you get online when things get weird. And I think we have to have that separation of what's online and what's happening in the real world. You get together with people, this, that, and the other. Even when I'm talking to people who are non-black and whatever, tell them about the Blurs. It's always like, oh, that sounds really cool, and then that's the end of the conversation, right? It's like, hey, that's great for y'all. That sounds cool, you know. And it's not like, hey, how can I be a part of this, that, and the other? No one asks those questions to me in real life, but you get online, it's a very different story, right? Why are we exclusive? This, that, and the other, you know. But I definitely think I think with the younger generation coming up now, and with things being much more the norm than it was before, I think it it definitely has grown, and I think has grown in a positive way where there's a lot of new ideas, new takes on things, and a lot of younger people, if being inspirational to everyone out there, and folks who are like, hey, okay, I don't have to be behind a closet, a closed door with this like it's some dirty little secret. um I think it only can continue to grow from here as long as we have positive voices, and not, I've not directly, but been a part of, in a roundabout way, like weird things happening in the Blerd community. Like, y'all, why are we doing this? Some of it is just people being people, whether you're white, black, whatever, it doesn't matter. People are weird sometimes. So, I don't know. I think it's going in a good direction now, and it is refreshing. It's positive to find more and more people. Like, I was bumping some anime track like a few days ago, last week. We're going to look at houses. Had my son in the back seat. He jamming. I got my windows down, and then dude in this van pulled up beside me, and he's like, "Hey, what you know about that da 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 da?" I'm like, "Man, yeah, man, this song go hard, right?" And I turned it up, we vibing out, and then we drive away. It was great, you know. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it nowadays.
And that's funny you should say that because I was bumping that on my way to work last night. I mean, yesterday. That that is like one of the. When I heard that, I was like, wow. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. All right, Mark, what you got?
Well, for me, I would say, being a blurred in 2026, uh, it feels the same. I've been doing the same thing for years. I haven't really had any issues. I always go into different areas. I'm going to do my thing no matter what. And for me, I just try to enjoy myself everywhere I go. I've been doing cons now. God, it's been probably about 20 years, I guess, going to different cons. I like seeing the celebrities. I love going to the panels. It's where I met a lot of people, going to these panels. And I have no problem talking about anybody. I just enjoy doing that part of it. My wife was going probably before I met her. And, what did you think about it?
But just the cons or just the blurs?
The blurs aspect.
I mean, I've definitely, I'm kind of on camera, off camera, so, But I definitely see the difference with being a blur now. I mean, back in the day, I didn't know the word, you know, just because I did my own thing. I was always, going to the cons, always did my costumes, and I still get people, white people, that will just say, "Oh, you're into that." And for me, it's not just because I am a black person, it's also being a female black person that for me to like what I like. In my younger years, it was just me that was doing a lot of these things. And when I tell people that, this is what I'm doing, it's like, oh my God, you do that? Not anything in a negative light. It was just to the point, oh my God, I've never met a black female that, loves Star Trek as much as I do, or, the pop culture that I know. So for me, I like seeing the change because Zoe has a friend today. That's why she's not up here with us. But Zoe has a different experience where a lot, of her friends, it's not a big deal. Where for me, it was a big deal. My job, dressing up and telling people what I like. Where with her, it's just the age gap. I guess it's not a big deal. So I do like the idea to see where we were and where we're going being a blur.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say, even at work, because when I actually physically went into the office, I put up what I like at my desk, and people would just walk over and then start a conversation about what they saw at my desk, and then I would just start talking to them, and then after they left, people was like, "Boy, you guys," which I think is funny, because they didn't understand anything we were talking about,
Mm.
so then they were like, "You guys are just a bunch of nerds, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, so."
Yeah.
But that was the extent of that. But yeah, that's the only thing I noticed when I was at work, and I decorate my cubicle with, Star Trek, well, Star Wars, um, Spider Man, Superman. I had it all around my desk, and people would just start walking up, and we would carry on conversations about what they saw at my desk and ask me how I felt about certain shows, and we would sit there 20, 30 minutes talking about it. And then when that person left, everybody around me was like, well, I didn't know what you guys were talking about. Oh, okay, so that was the
Well,
end of that.
I think it's different being a black person and being a nerd and being a white person and being a nerd. I do think that, for a while, black people just wasn't, it wasn't a norm, I guess, as people think for us. And we were out there, but we were kind of like in the shadows a little bit. Because I know a few other, black people that, love the chemistry of, the Phantoms and can't express themselves what they like, where white people have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely because to be honest with you, Bishop and I, um, finding a female Star Trek person was really hard. And then, like you said, on top of that, a black female person because it was only me and Bishop. Everybody loves Star Wars, but you talk about Star Trek, oh my God, that's like, oh no, no, no. So I get that. Um, and for me, it was, um, you know, I guess we kind of are kind of closeted at a point because we're all dressed in the latest fashions of whatever else until somebody hits that key word or says something that parks our ears and we're like, oh, you know about that? Da 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 da. That's how I met Bishop. I was in a Video Express on Rosemont Road, and he came in with his brother, and they were talking about role playing. And what y'all know about some role playing? Because I'm doing it every Friday night with a bunch of guys that were in the military, and that's how I met him. And we've been kicking it ever since. So yeah, it's definitely changed because now the culture is more accepting of that. Because at one time you couldn't do that. You couldn't wear that Spider-Man shirt to school. You couldn't do none of that. You couldn't have action figures. Grow up. Stop that. What are you, weird? Um, but I mean, I still get a lot of hate for Star Trek. Um, but it's one of the hills that I'm willing to die on. Uh, it is the precursor to Star Wars. Without Star Trek, you wouldn't have Star Wars, per George Lucas.
Come on now, you got to say without, what is it? No, it's not even Doctor Who. I was going to go way back. We got to go. If you didn't have Flash Gordon, if you didn't have any of that stuff, we wouldn't have Star Wars or Star Trek.
Well, those were definitely his influences, but I'm not. The main meat of the situation was Lucas himself acknowledged Star Trek, which I want you to acknowledge, sir.
No, I'm going
Mr.
to
Star Wars. That's
only
what I'm
going
trying to
to
do.
acknowledge is, like I said, I'm gonna go Buck Rogers, and I'm gonna go, like I said, Flash Gordon. I'll
Flash
acknowledge
Gordon.
him.
Well, yeah, okay, but again, we throw that to the side because we already know those were the influences. But look what all of this has given us as, I mean, as a culture. When I say culture, I know everybody, oh, he talking about black people. No, I'm talking about as nerds, as fans, as geeks of this thing. We're the guys that buy the T-shirts. We're the guys that buy the comics. We buy the stupid little, I don't know, scrunchies and ducks shaped, yeah, phone holders. Yeah, we all got some type of thing. I've recently been back on a Batman kick that is just eating me alive. Um,
God, yes.
I've got batarangs now, and Lego Batmobiles, grappling hooks, and figures now because I don't have not one Batman figure still in the box. Now I got like 12 over the course of a month. I got like 12, and it's still just trying to fill in these gaps. But we couldn't do that at a particular time. Um,
Look,
and the
I got a
people,
question. Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
No, no. Oh, I was going to say the people that I meet now. There are more of us doing things with like photography and kit bashing. We're now. I've met a bunch of us that are writing stories. Well, Rashad, who is a fellow blurred, he's got a storyline that would put Watchmen to shame. I mean, he sent me this storyline, and I was like, "Why aren't you publishing? I mean, dude, change the name, swap out whatever you got to swap out, and get this thing done." Because I'm telling you, brutality aside, because it's brutal. He don't hold back nothing when it comes to his action scenes, and um, this kind of brings me to kind of before Paladin, you get your question in. Um, have we kind of lost our way with our superheroes? Do we want them more anti-hero than we do want truth, justice, and the American way? Uh I was sitting there watching Batman, and just about every scene Batman was in when he was fighting somebody, he was killing them. And I was kind of like, what happened to your no kill rule? And I get it that it's live action, but the gentleman that runs East Coast cosplayers, he does Captain America, and he was asking that question about the next generation and what type of heroes can they look up to when we have heroes that are like the drunk Supergirl. And I kept thinking to myself, I can't think of any superhero that doesn't kind of cross that line. I mean, I don't like the new Spider-Man. I'm ready to see Miles hit the screen, personally. Um, I don't know where we are as far as like heroes. Uh, we all say this, oh, I'm tired of Superman saving the cat out of a tree. Well, the alternative is that he burns this whole planet down to the ground. So, you pick your choice. Do you want this man doing what he can do and doing it with uh, humility, grace, and restraint, or do you want a homeland? You know what I'm saying? It's a big question. Look, they got absolute Batman. This guy takes a double bladed axe off his chest and starts, breaking people's arms, and people are loving it. And I'm sitting there going, that's not Batman.
Yeah.
So,
But I think with that, one, to answer your question, I think
mhm.
um, they, at least for me, they kind of did that whole, not a real anti-hero, but a darker Superman with Man of Steel. Not even to go a whole conversation, right? That just a little thing. But I think people, are more, what's the word? Not sarcastic, but cynical nowadays. And so the whole, you know, justice for freedom, people ain't really, because life is complicated and messy and gray, and so like there's so much of that nowadays, and whenever there is something happening in IRL and no one pays the price for it, they're like, well, what's the point? So then you get, so well, man, I really wish there was a Batman to go around and snatch up this old dude and bust his face in. You know what I'm saying? Because what the heck, So I think it has to do with kind of the culture. That's why I like the new Superman movie when it was more in that vein of light and bright and bubbly, but I hate using bubbly with that word, but that's the only word that comes on my mind. It is that more what was it, Silver Age or Golden Age Superman, vice the more modern stuff, and and that's why some people was dragging it because it's like, oh, it was too happy and this and the other. I was like, but Superman is all about hope, right? And a lot of people don't have that nowadays for varying reasons. Um, so that's my take on that, Calibus.
I appreciate that. I can see the cynical nature of a lot of things, but I I really kind of feel like we've lost a step or two. I think I don't see much hope in a lot of these things where I think Cap was kind of right where we do want these cynical heroes, and then when you do give us a Superman that's supposed to embody all this stuff and then want to give you a 20-minute speech on how he lives and loves and laughs and all that, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to look, man, just slap the cuffs on him, take him away. I ain't got time for you to give me your emotional story.
All right, well,
But at
since
the
you
same
bring that
time,
up, well, let me say something. Since you bring that up, like you watched Daredevil Born Again, right?
I haven't
Oh,
finished the
wait.
second season yet.
Okay, so the one that just came out on Disney Plus, that for me it just hit too close to home. It is so real life when you watch that when I'm sitting there looking at it, it had no hope, no nothing in it. It was just something dark that you looked at, and I'm like, if you compare it to what's going on, you know, it's spot on. Even though that comic book was written, I think what probably 20, 30 years ago, and then
Well,
for when it comes out like this show, and I know they filmed it prior to anything going on in the real world, but you look at that there's no hope in that show at all. So,
1985, right? The
oh
book,
yeah, yeah,
1985.
yeah,
So
40
yeah,
years ago, yeah, that's what I mean. So I don't see. You can either get the hope that I like in Superman, or you can get this dread that Daredevil, which was so gritty, so down to earth,
It was so awesome though.
whatever. Now,
see, that's like I watched. You want to talk about Daredevil doesn't have nothing compared to the Punisher, because I was sitting there, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, holy crap,
with the
this dude is.
Punisher, that movie that they put out,
That
what
was wow.
it wasn't a movie, and I don't know.
It was
It
like
was,
45 minutes,
it was
Yeah.
45
and
minutes.
then
It was a TV
yeah,
show. Don't call it a movie. Just say this is episode point one of whatever. But yeah, don't call that a movie. That was just an episode. And it was dark. It was, for me, I don't remember the guy's name, but he is the best Punisher I've seen. Now, I did like the first Punisher movie. Well, not the first, because that was Dolph Lundgren back in
Oh,
the
the one, the
80s.
one that was
The one that
Tom Jane.
yeah, I thought that was a good one. And if you see it, that one was pretty cool. And then the guy that played, what is it? The second one, where you had the guy in the glass that got
Right. Yeah.
that one wasn't too bad. It just went off the rails. But I like this guy as the Punisher. I hate that they waited so long because he's getting older. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to do it, and he is in Spider Man, so we'll get to see whatever he brings to that character there. So I for me the only thing I said, like the Punisher, it's dark, it's gritty, it's dark, and there's no hope in it whatsoever. It's just,
Well,
I mean,
that's not true because at the end
here,
of it, he's
no,
he's letting you know that I'm not going to sit by and let this go to pot. I
yeah,
will take it out myself, and there you go. You have vigilante justice. So again, I'm like I want the hope, but I don't want that. Don't give me that. Don't give me a monologue as you're telling me about your hope.
so you
That to
just
me
don't,
defeats the purpose.
so
You know what I'm
you
saying?
really like the cynicism that you think the
I don't
world
like.
is.
What I'm saying is, I would take Christopher Reeve.
He was the worst. I mean, his Clark Kent sucked. It's
Dude, I'm
Wolverine.
not. Look, I ain't saying nothing about his Clark Kent. I'm
But
not
it
worried
angers
about his
me
Clark
every
Kent.
time I see him as Clark Kent. I'm angry
Then
about
again,
this
Mark,
is
but
what
nobody's
people
talking
want.
about his Clark Kent. I'm
It is
talking
the
about
whole
his
character.
Superman.
But his whole character, he is Clark Kent, he is Superman. He's horrible as
Now,
Clark
look,
Kent.
I'm not worried about his Clark Kent. What I'm worried about is
Angry.
his 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 truth, his justice, and of course there ain't no really there ain't no American way anymore because now you
No.
got to be global. You have to be for the whole world. But then there's international policy. You're not supposed to be doing that anymore. You can't just fly over there and express your will on I don't know Grenada or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So my thing now is I mean as I try to think of hope or whatever else. That Superman movie did not give me hope. I'm sorry, it just didn't. I just no. But I haven't seen anything that really has. Even with Captain America, you have him with the Avengers. He's got a guy that's bow and arrow, an agent. He's a killer. He's an assassin. He shows that. Black Widow is an assassin. So you know what I'm saying? Cap is the only real red, white, and blue apple pie eating guy that you got there, whatever else. But now even that is blurred because times have changed. You know what I mean? So you're going to bring in what? Now the X-Men, and we're getting all this Doomsday and all this. Everybody's like, I'm so excited. I'm like, yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait. I don't know if it's superhero fatigue or the fact that everybody wants to ride on the political bandwagon and give us this take on their politics or whatever else instead of reaching from the source material and giving us an accurate comic book movie. Because what I hear is Cyclops is in the blue and yellow suit. That's comic book accurate. And I'm like, that's what you're worried about? His costume being yellow and blue? I'm more worried about the multiverse screw ups that they're going to do and how they're duping you because they killed off this character and now they're bringing him back. Oh, but it's a different version. Yes, that's lazy writing.
Yeah.
You couldn't come up with something, so you're going to pull everybody back. They're going to reboot the universe. After these two movies, they're rebooting the Marvel universe. And that scares me beyond anything. You know what I mean? Because they've had so many things that weren't B-listers that didn't receive the proper treatment that they should have, and then they killed those movies for us. Now nobody wants to take a chance. I would rather see a Question movie with James Gunn doing the Question. Take a couple of B-listers, he them up, and But I would really prefer to see some type of. I really would like to see a real hero. That's what I'm getting at. I need to see. Give me some hope. Give me a real hero, without a speech attached to it. Just give me a hero. But I don't want to see Batman in his Batwing launching missiles down at regular people.
Might be a bit overkill. Maybe just a little.
Right? You know what I mean? I mean, I still remember in '89. I'm like, oh wow, you got Gatling guns in your. Wait a minute. Why? Wait, you can't do that. They're people. They're not machines. They're not. Those were, and he's just letting them things go. I watched Ben Affleck do the same thing. Drop mini bombs, come up, breaking paperbacks, slamming them into the walls. I'm like, okay.
That was a good scene.
It was.
Oh, it was an awesome scene. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, I mean, oh my God, you know.
I turned on my surround sound, cut the lights out, played that as loud as possible. Then I rewind it to watch it again because I'm like, that is awesome. He's like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I believe you.
Yeah, right. But even Henry Cavill's Superman, I love the way he played his Kent and everything else, and uh you know, I do feel a little in I feel a little self-conscious when I see the man take off his shirt and everything else, and now my wife's attention is like, oh, okay. And then the moment the shirt is on or he's gone, she's gone too. So now, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, you just came in here to see this, you know.
Yeah.
But I get it. I mean, I know uh we all like violence until violence is brought to us.
Mm.
And I think we're really kind of missing that key opponent of, you know, heroes. They don't kill. They stop the bad person from hurting others, and then they get locked away. Now the choice of, you know, if he just would have killed him, it would be easy, and you know,
Right.
he's going to get out and kill again. That's not my problem. That your security is not good enough to hold whoever. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so
That's like it.
we're gonna
Go
go
ahead.
with. Well, I was gonna say we can do this another time,
Yeah,
but
that's another
let's
show.
let's talk about Batman when he was created. He killed every single person he fought from the time he was created till the Joker appeared. That was the one person he never killed. And
No, he
then,
killed the Joker. He killed the Joker. They wrote him
Really?
out of that. Yeah.
right, but I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just saying that was the only person that somebody said, "Oh, then let's just keep him alive." But originally, he
Well,
was
they kept him alive because it sold a lot of books. Yeah.
it sold a lot of books. And
Yeah.
then they had a necessary evil thing. So we lock these people up all the time. And then, like you said, they escape. You know, the Joker is always escaping Arkham to come out and kill again. There was, what is it? Batman, no, Superman versus the Elite. When they were talking about this guy, you know, every time Superman put somebody in jail and they escape, and these people come out, and they're not killing one or two people, they're killing tons of people. And the elite was like, "Well, do you want me to kill him?" They're like, "Yeah," and they killed that guy. So you get to see, you know, how does that make you feel? And then when Superman fought them, what if Superman actually did let loose and do what everybody wanted him to do? Do you feel safe being around a person like that, like you said, who has all that power, and then decides he's going to take the law into his own hands? Do you want that in a world, or do you want to keep him where he is putting people in jail because he's that Boy Scout?
Oh, me personally, I've already told you that.
Yeah,
Do you really want? I mean, you saw what he did.
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, like, do you want a bright burn? I
I mean,
say this, and I always say this. I say this, and I'm like, you know, I'm like a few steps away from being a villain. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah,
all it would take would be somebody to come in, wipe out a member of my family or something like that. Especially at this age, I've got kids, I've got grandkids. No one's home. It's just me and the old lady. You kill the old lady, and and I can go out and do what I need to do, bro. Yes, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be a hero, but I think the next generation, you need that type of hero. You need that guy. You need that Superman to look up to. You need that uh, Anthony Mackie Captain America. I love, man, for 4th of July. I had on my Anthony Mackie Captain America because I can't get that speech that he said out of my mind. You know what do you mean? I'm wearing the stars and the stripes, and you think as a black man I don't? You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, yeah, that's pretty good. That was a great speech.
yeah.
You know, unfortunately, money wise, I don't know if his movie made enough money for him to continue in that role. I bought figures. I bought Funko Pops. I love that whole Falcon thing. You know what I mean? Cap shield and the wings, and I loved all that. But I just, in this business, money talks. And if you don't make, at one time it was 3 times the budget to be a blockbuster, but now it's 2 times or 2.5 times and it's a flop. I feel bad for Supergirl because you don't get too many female superhero movies. And let's face it, uh, our counterparts, our female counterparts, they're buying merch. They're buying these T-shirts. They're buying, you know, uh, uh, the action figures and stuff like that. I met a girl the other day who was a huge Batman fan, and she was buying all that stuff up. You know what I mean? And the conversation was she would love to see a Batgirl movie. Although I think she was on like more like Vonda. She wanted like Cassandra Cain. You know what I mean? She wanted that violent Batgirl. But still, you know what I mean? But it's just I we don't I kind of see what you're saying, Mark. You can get this. This is their version of Hope in Superman. James Gunn's Superman. This is their version of Hope. I liked Henry Cavill's version of Hope. For me, he kind of hit that uh, on the head for me. We got why he doesn't kill anymore because he killed Zod, and that was like, I'm not going to do this ever again. There's going to be a better way.
Yeah.
In a way, that saved Batman because I swear to God, I thought that was just the stupidest thing in the world. You can put on this armor
Well,
and this
Fonda wanted
dude.
to say something.
I'm choking out.
Oh, hold on.
Don't die on
You know.
camera now.
No, I was just comparing, just kind of said it when Henry Cavill Superman killed God, he snapped the neck and, yelled out sadness and, Lois was there and pretty much cuddled in her arms. Where in Supergirl, I don't want to get too much out if you haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it by now, you probably won't.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
We haven't seen it. Just
Yeah,
spoiler alert.
she kind of did the same thing to her bad guy, and it was like, okay, and then just moved on.
Well, she grew up on Krypton or whatever, but yeah, she knows pain more so than Superman does, and yeah, she didn't want someone else to have to deal with the pain for the rest of their life, so she took that pain upon herself. So that's the difference between the two. So in this movie, she took on this pain so another person wouldn't take the pain and have to deal with it.
But I don't think it was pain like Henry Cavill Superman
Oh
was.
no, it was no
It
pain.
was
Like
more like,
she
you
was,
were bad,
yeah,
and I'm dealing with it.
yeah,
And
Oh,
I'm
the,
moving
the
on.
Wonder Woman thing.
Yes.
Wonder Woman says that because Wonder Woman's like, there's a reason why my faux roster is not as long as yours because I deal
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
people.
yeah.
And I'm like, wow, Wonder Woman, okay. But an Amazon, trained to
So that's
kill.
what I'm saying. I mean, because even when you think about Supergirl, we're gonna have to go with everything that she can do. She's more powerful than Superman. She absorbs sunlight better than Superman, so she, is way more devastating than he is. She experienced the loss of the planet as an older person, where she grew up there. She knew about the people. Then she was sent away as an older person, and then had to start over, even though she got here after Clark. She is theoretically older, and she remembers everything that he has no memory of. So that's why she is a total different character who, she doesn't feel the same way he feels about humans. She is willing to do what she's done, to do everything that she's willing to do to destroy or to take out somebody. So yeah, that's a totally different character. If you look at her, there is no hope with her. There is just, I'm going to deal with whatever I need to deal with.
Well, I won't say there's no hope, but, you know, I don't need to see Superman take the cat, squirrel, whatever it was, out the tree. I know he's going to do it anyway, and then just in her, she just going out and just doing what needs to be done. I don't want to see her take the cat out. I really don't want to see him do it. But in this last
She would
movie,
never do
yeah.
it.
Well, I'm not saying that the cat shouldn't be saved. What's the cat? Squirrel?
Yeah,
I'm not
she
saying it shouldn't be saved, but I don't think I really needed to see on the big screen. I
yeah,
think that was just a waste of time.
yeah, she would never pull a cat out of a tree
Well, it's a cat. I mean,
or yeah, or blow the squirrel or
yeah.
whatever, save a dog. Well, she will save a dog.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
just
well,
put it
yeah.
that
Yeah,
way.
well,
Yeah.
obviously she had 3
Yeah.
days to do it, so hopefully she did. I don't know. But I do realize this. I'm also tired of you're this villain got popular. Let's make them an anti-hero. Harley Quinn, Venom.
Yeah,
Now
That is
they're all
weird. I don't even understand it. He is a part of the Spider-Man crew now, Venom, with
the guy eats brains.
yeah,
I don't understand.
yeah.
I
So that's
just
crazy. And like you were
you
saying,
know
some characters didn't do well, and I don't know what's happening. Shang-Chi is one of those characters. Like he's one of the best martial arts in Marvel, and the Ten Rings guy.
Yeah.
And they did this one movie, and they haven't shown him since. And I thought the movie was pretty good.
yeah.
I think he's supposed
He's
to
gonna
be
be
in the
Doomsday.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
He's going to be in Doomsday, but that how long ago did this movie
Oh, bro, I
come out?
couldn't tell you. Yeah,
How many superheroes
I
in this movie with all these super?
Well, they're supposed to be anti. They're anti-heroes, so they're on the
I
dark
mean,
side.
Avengers did it well, but I don't want to see 20 good guys.
They're not all good this time. So Captain
Yeah,
America is
that's
supposed to be
right.
bad. Oh, they're
Yeah.
all bad.
Anyway,
So everybody coming back is supposed to be bad.
well, we don't.
yeah. I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I just found it interesting, and I tried to. We don't have that thing where we can look into heroes and stuff anymore. I think all our good heroes are aging out and everything else. And then of course, you get things like Darth Maul with his Shadow Collective thing, and you're looking for the glimmer of somebody being better, but now you're rooting for the villain, and he's a villain, but you're still rooting for him.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Look, man,
I
I
just
think I think
go ahead.
that's look. I think that's the the signs of the time, man. I mean, not to get all the government, this, that, and the other, but I mean, you just look at people in certain places, and this, that, and the other, and from high and low, and you get why people want these anti-heroes, and it's hate to say it, a reflection of our society, but it is like the golden age of comics represented that time frame, and then you had the 90s which represented that time frame. Now we're here and we have a different, the atmosphere is different, people are different in some regards and respects, and the things that people are put out reflect that. That's why it's so much agenda pushing in a lot of media, right? Because people, hey, I'm gonna use this to tell my voice. We don't care about your voice. We care about the story and the character, right? We just want to see them overcome. And I think people before was able to write things in such a way, like we've talked about it before, with like X-Men, and how Charles and Magneto were meant to be Dr. King, like a representation of them, but without referencing them directly, in the whole mutant, and it was a one-for-one civil rights movement, and the struggle of African American people and minorities and this, that, and the other, and that was an excellent way to have that social commentary without directly referencing it, because the fiction is supposed to kind of take us out of the real world, but kind of, oh, you know what, this kind of sounds like, and then people who will get it be like, oh, I see what they did there, right? And then we appreciate that, right? People don't bash well, some people are going to bash it because they just hate everything, but I think that's what we've gotten away from, of talking about the issues of the day through the story and characters that overcome their version of what we're dealing with. Let Brainiac represent the oppressive state or something. I don't know, whatever, without just saying it's the oppressive state.
Well, yeah, that's called good writing, and we don't have that anymore.
Exactly.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We have a
But
bunch of people with their fan fiction inserting themselves into certain characters, or creating a certain character to link themselves to an existing character. So now they're a part of it. And I think that's the sad part. I've always been one, especially when we do our role playing and stuff like that. I don't want you to be a carbon copy of this guy. I don't want you. I want you to have your own thing. You're not related to no Kents or no Waynes, and you're not. No, don't do that. I hate that. Be your own character, breathe them into life, and create something new that everyone can really get a hold of. But we don't have that. We don't have good writers. Look what they're doing. We had an announcement that the guy that took over Star Trek is like, you know what? We're getting rid of all that. We're going back to the old schools. We're going back to the way they used to do stuff. Now, as much as I would love to hear that to be true, and I seen it, and I'm still going, you know what I mean? This merger has to go through for any of that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Certain things have to be done, and the ink has to be dry on the paper. But it doesn't work because the agenda driven storylines that certain people were trying to pass, nobody's watching. You can get mad at me all you want to. I'm not saying I don't. I'm not expressing myself in a negative way towards the uh, the storytelling. All I'm saying is you didn't have enough people watching your storytelling to keep it going. I will put it in those nice terms versus the old me who would told you blah 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 blah, and this is why it sucked.
and then our show was canceled.
Yeah.
You know?
And then right, so yeah, and believe me, there, there's some tirades, dude, that I had to go back and make sure because click. Let me erase that. You know what I mean? Because I don't want us to be like that either. That's why we stopped doing a lot of the Star Wars stuff. I just got tired of hearing it. I just got tired of hearing everybody, especially young fans who don't know dick about Star Wars, and then here they are telling me, someone who was there at the theater, someone who buys the comics, somebody who plays the video games, who's bought the books, who's got the audiobooks, and then you want to come in here with your 15 years of life and tell me how a story went. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the time for you. You know.
That is funny.
I want to
But
say,
I
segue
go ahead.
real quick. Look, because that made me think about what I had forgot earlier. But the question I wanted to ask you guys, and it's aside to what you were just saying, Calibus. I'm not saying you're doing this, but I think what do you guys think about gatekeeping in terms of blurredism, and all this, that, and the other? Like, do you think we can fall victim or have fallen victim to that in some regards, some respects?
I try not to. I don't say that it's my Star Wars. I just say, you know what? I only exist between episodes 1 through 6, Clone Wars, Maul, and The Mandalorian. I believe it or not, I can deal with 7. I just can't go beyond 7, and I really won't watch 7. You know what I'm saying? But I don't, you know, I don't go beyond that anymore. Because it just gets me upset. Why put yourself in that situation? And I don't want to take the joy from somebody else who loves 7, 8, 9. If those are your jam, fly your banner and enjoy it. I personally won't engage with you because, again, I got kids that come in there all the time, and I say they're kids because they are, and man, that was just, that's the most awesome. I mean, that last Star Wars movie, that's the best. And I go, really? Okay. How can I help you again today? Is there anything else that you need? Because I'm not going to engage with that. No. Or, my other favorite. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? Oh, I can't just pick one. They're all my favorites. You're a lie. You a lie.
I can put them in order.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I've got
So,
it.
but
Yeah,
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to gatekeep anything from nobody. Who am I? I didn't create this.
nope.
If I created it, then I would gatekeep it. Like what I'm doing now with my books. Those are my universes. You
I
can't
was
tell
gonna
me a
say,
damn thing. You can't tell me that I'm chauvinist pig and I don't like this. Da 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 da. Yeah, because it's my universe.
yep.
Go create your own if you don't like mine. But gatekeeping stuff like the Spider-Man movie. I got a guy I work with who, oh, Spider-Man, I can't wait. I've already bought my ticket. Okay, good for you. What's the matter? You don't like Spider-Man? No, I like Spider-Man. I just don't care for this one. Toby was my Spider-Man.
But see, Toby wasn't comic book accurate.
I
So
didn't care about it. I didn't care about it being comic book accurate. I liked watching Toby. I loved the fact that his spider webs didn't run out because he was making it.
internally,
Yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? I also like the fact that he had to put on a suit, not this nanotech that Stark gave him.
I don't like
And I
Stark.
can't stand Mary Jane, the new Mary Jane. Can't stand her. I just can't.
No.
I want my redhead. Go get him, Tiger.
Yeah.
Not this.
See, I had a
Not her.
problem with Garfield that he stole the web from what was it, LexCorp?
Oscorp.
Oscorp,
Yeah.
yeah. That was
I
the
thought-
crazy, that was the
Yeah.
craziest thing I'd ever seen. So I was angry about that one. I did like Toby more. Like you said, he was creating the web. He wore the suit. Garfield didn't create the web, but he wore the suit. So I enjoyed that. But for him to steal it from Oscorp, that was just ridiculous. And then, like you said, I mean, at least what's his name is making his web. He does that in class. So
Yeah.
but the nanotech, yeah, that I never liked any of that part of the story. And
You know why?
why?
There's the attention span of these kids is, they can't wait for somebody to go into a room and take off their clothes and then come back out. It's so much cooler to hit a button and everything is automatic.
No.
Everything is automatic. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh my God, no, that's not the whole point. It's like when I hear somebody tell, well, Spider-Man is he's supposed to be in high school. No, he's not.
No, he
Yes, he is.
graduated. No, he
You know, I'm like,
graduated. He
dude,
graduated
yeah.
what, 40
They
years
did that
ago?
for the kids, guys. They did that. I mean, so gatekeeping and all that other stuff. I have my favorites. I dwell within those particular eras. I watched Batman 66, and for the first time, I watched it all the way through and went, okay,
Don't have to see
I'm
that.
good with you now.
Yeah.
I'm good with you now. You know what I mean? It took me a minute because remember when I saw it, I saw it when I was a kid. I didn't see it again until I was in my 20s and was like shocked, beyond shocked that this was my Batman because I remember it being a lot cooler, but I was thinking of it through those nostalgia eyes. I was thinking through those nostalgia eyes, But now I'm sitting in, the best little toy store in Virginia Beach, and I'm watching it, and I'm laughing, and people are going, "Oh man, that's great, ha ha ha!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was, wasn't it?" And I can appreciate it for what it was. Just like Superman, Man of Tomorrow is going to come out.
Yeah, I was
And for anybody to tell you that,
yeah.
oh, Calibus isn't going to go watch it, I am going to go watch it. Because one, you can't talk about it if you don't watch it.
Yeah.
And two, I need DC to have a hit. The only bad thing is that Batman Part 2 is 3 months after the Man of Tomorrow, which I think is just going to, after the Penguin and all that other stuff, I think it's just going to blow Superman out of the water. I just, that Penguin. But even at the end of his Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman, he talks about being a symbol of hope, which, because there's Batman putting people in a helicopter,
He
and
was
I'm
out in
sitting there going,
daylight. Yeah, he was in
right,
daylight.
right. And that kind of perplexed me a little bit because I'm sitting there going, why are you still out there like that?
Yep.
He goes, I got to be a symbol of hope now. And I'm like, okay. All right. So, but I still think that I still think James Gunn can somehow get a hit. Creature Commandos was amazing. I know a lot of people don't like it. I did.
I love
You
that.
know,
It was good.
I thought, dude,
Yeah.
there was a character in it, a Weasel. I couldn't stand this character, but he made me feel for this character. And if I hate a character so bad that I'm like, F you in your show, but then you show me this episode and I go, oh my God. Oh, come on. You know what I mean? So,
He's a good.
you got to give it to him, right? You got to give it to him.
Now, see, I have to say, I like the first season of what is it?
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Second season, I did not like at all, and I'm sorry to say that.
Look, I don't need a porn fest in my DC. I'm good. I'm sorry.
Well,
But
since
to say-
now, you brought up earlier the Star Trek thing, and I wanted to go back to that right quick before we stop. You know, if Paramount, WB, all of that happens, what do you want to see in Star Trek going forward? You know?
To be honest with you, I would just prefer you to. They said they're going back to the Next Generation and Wrath of Khan type storytelling.
Yes.
Maybe pick up after DS9 and get a new crew. It doesn't have to be the Enterprise crew, but you have to stick to military protocols. There can't be somebody lounging in the captain's chair with a book, eating an apple, and people standing up and blurting out answers to their commanding officer, or the captain looking perplexed and just I just as a longtime Star Trek fan, no one would have did that to Cisco. No one. You damn sure bet not try to do that with Janeway. Janeway would have put you in your place, man.
You would have done that with Janeway. She didn't need
That's
to.
right.
She would not have done that.
Look, and I hear Janeway gets so much hate, but I'm going to tell you now, as a older, even back then, as a younger man, I loved Janeway. I thought that she was mature. I thought she was a sexy captain. Then you brought Seven of Nine on, and I go, oh, you trying to throw me this sex thing? I don't want that. I want the stern captain. I need that. I don't need to see all that, because you've seen that on every other TV show. They bring in the sexy little thing with the big boobs and the the tight little uniform. Every shot was a crock shot of her, and I'm like, give me a break. I don't need to see all this. I'm here for is Janeway going to get her people home? So we got a lot to look forward to. We got a lot that's coming out here. Marvel's going to do this Doomsday, and then Secret Wars. I don't know how many times, how many movies. I think Doomsday is going to be a two-parter, and I think Secret Wars is going to be a two-parter. I think.
Yeah, you got Spider-Man coming out, like you said.
And then we have Batman Nightfall,
Yeah.
which
I'm looking forward to it. That's
I
a-
didn't realize was rated R. Did you know that, Mark? It was rated R?
No, I didn't pay attention to the rating.
It's rated R, and it's a 3-part saga. You can order it right now on Amazon.
Oh,
But I don't want to do that because I will only wind up with 6 movies because they're going to do a complete set.
yeah,
You
but
know?
I'm still going to buy it, and then I
Buy the
will
set
have it.
because it'll be a collector's set. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll have it before that too. So
Yeah. But yeah, it's on Amazon. Nightfall, and it comes out just before the right after Christmas, like you get it like on the 31st or something like that. You can pre-order it. But this was again being blurred is no different than just being a nerd, except for we have a I don't know, a connection that no one else has because we've seen some of the things that have gone on. We've got a different experience, but at the same time, we are just as welcoming, as anybody else. You can go check out the new Blurred's Capes and Cases and Blurred Otaku page on Facebook. This is where a lot of this content is going to go. It is not just for Black people. Let me make that perfectly clear. We will showcase anyone, but it is a safe space. And I even hate saying that. That sounds kind of elementary to me. Let's put it this way. The content there will be what we deem it to be and put out as we see fit. Let me just say that. Because we have a lot to say and we have artistic value. Now, some of you may not like the AI work that will be up there, but I assure you, there'll be people with their own content, of course, on there doing their thing. I use AI for promotional use, just to get you to the page, just so you can show interest. So there's that. Anybody else got anything to say?
No, man, it was a good show. It was a good
Yeah.
talk. I like these kind of talks.
Well, we
Bring
just,
both
you know,
worlds
I,
together.
I don't want to do content just to, oh, it's Sunday, we got to have a content. No, if we don't have it, we don't have it. If nobody wants to do it, we're not going to do it. I only want to do it when we have something meaningful to say. And usually Vonda or Mark will come up with something and be like, hey, the other day I saw this and I thought that'd be interesting. I'd be like, ooh, damn, yeah, let's do that. You know, Paladin, you'll come up with something. You know what I mean? We got most of the kinks out, and if we can get us another fellow Blurred to come on the show, I'm all with that. You know what I mean? People come and go. We got to keep going. We can't stop. We won't stop. Get it.
No. It's too soon. It's too soon.
Uh,
That was good.
Oh, so next Sunday will be Blurred Otaku, and I believe we have some homework. So stay tuned for that, guys. Zoe will be back with her zaniness of the anime, and she does pick out some interesting animes to watch. So I'm going to do my best to at least try to get through a whole season this time of something. So
Nice.
Yeah, because that last one, like I
the
said,
slime, yeah.
I watched the whole season, but
What she had you watching?
My life as a slime.
no, that time I got reincarnated as a
Oh man,
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
fire, man. That's fire. You couldn't get through it.
I seen season 1. Yeah, you should have been up there then.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to say. Where were you? Where were you?
I don't
Well,
like.
look, I tell you what, just check the page there, Paladin, and next Sunday,
yeah.
if you like it, you can join.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot what the show that we're supposed to be watching. I think I've seen 2 episodes. Whatever.
You're up on me, so I'll be cramming it. And then, of course, Vonda and I will be back with our Star Trek episode on Thursday. So, guys, enjoy. Thank you for hanging out with us. Check us out, Blurred's Capes and Cases and Blurred Otaku on Facebook here on the Cosmic Portal Salvage Yard. From all of us to all of you, stay safe, stay hydrated, and let's hope this heat ends really soon.